Greetings, shooters and reloaders. So today I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about a few problems that you might encounter. Some of them have been pointed out to me recently, that some problems that people have been having. And the first one is when you're cleaning your brass in a vibratory tumbler, separate your brass. So in other words, don't put like 9mm and 45 ACP all in your tumbler at the same time, or 40 cal, or whatever you're doing. What happens is the 9mm will invariably get inside of the 45 ACP, or the 40 cal will get in there too. You'll get pieces of media shoved in there, wedged in there, and then it's difficult to get it out, the smaller cartridge. And also it won't get clean, and I find that I have to remove them with a pair of pliers to get them separated. So separate your brass before you put it into the tumbler. Also, if you're going to remove your primers before you put them in the tumbler, then after you take your brass out of the tumbler, you need to inspect the flash holes and take some kind of tool and punch out the flash hole to make sure that there's no grit stuck in there, because grit will get stuck in there and that'll cause ignition issues, which can lead to some squib loads and things like that. So make sure that you clean those primer pockets out, or the flash hole rather, if you tumble them with the primers removed first. But remember, always clean your brass before you run it through a resizing die. The next thing I want to talk about is off-center flash holes. There's certain manufacturers of brass who, I guess frankly, do a poor job, and they get their flash holes off-center, so that if you, I don't think you can probably see down there, but I don't know if you can tell or not, but anyway, this one is off-center. The one that I find that does it the most is a brand called Agulia. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I don't know where they're made or who they are. They almost always have the flash holes off-center. There may be some other brands that do it as well, but this is one I encounter a lot, that the flash hole is off-center. So you need to be careful with that. It might cause some issues with breaking your decapping pin. So you got to inspect your brass for that. The other thing is some of them have an excessive military crimp on them. IMI is one that comes to mind. There's a few others, but IMI was one that I had a lot of trouble with. They have a really heavy military crimp on the primer pocket, so you have to use a tool of some kind to ream that out and get them cleaned out good. Otherwise, that causes some issues when you go to reprime them, if you have any of the military crimp left in there. The other thing is, make sure your primers are going in right side up. It's easy, as you can see here. Here's a primer that was put in upside down. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, that got put in upside down. So that's easy to do. So inspect for that before you continue on with your loading process. The other thing is, in general, inspect your brass. And you want to look for things like, down in the area of the case head, particularly down in this area here, it's a typical place where you can get what's known as incipient cracks. It'll typically show up as like a white line going around this area. And what that means is that case is getting weak there and it's about to separate. So you want to discard it and not use it if you see any evidence of that whatsoever, because the case is getting close to failure, so don't use it. Check the necks. Make sure that there's no cracks up here in the neck. So look your brass over. Make sure that it's in good usable condition, especially if you're picking up range brass. You don't know if what you're picking up somebody else has already loaded 10 or 15, 20 times. You don't know. So you got to look it over carefully. Don't just pick up everything, throw it in your tumbler, and then start loading it without inspecting it and knowing what you've got there. The other thing is, when you're resizing, if you're getting dents in the shoulder area here, that's from too much lube. So you're using too much lube in your press, or you possibly got lube on the shoulder. And that's one of the reasons I don't care for using the spray lubes so much, because it kind of gets lube everywhere. The other thing is if you lube inside the case mouth, you need to take a Q-tip or a swab or something and clean that out. You don't want to have any lube in there when you go to put powder in, because that can cause some issues with the powder. So again, if you shoulder dents, there's too much lube, so back off on the amount of lube you're using, and be sure to clean that case mouth out if you use any lube inside of there. So I hope that's helpful for somebody. So until next time, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and I'll see you on the range.